Chapter 2 is all about integers. Integers are numbers that don't have any decimals or no fractions. So should be a pretty fraction-free chapter, decimal-free chapter. You're going to love it. Okay, but Chapter 2, Section 1 is integers and absolute value. So I'm just starting with a number line. And you could say all the positive numbers on a number line are going to be where? Right. To the right of what number? 0. Perfect. So if we were to take and cut this thing right here, you could, I suppose, if you wanted to do like an open circle on there. But if you're going to the right, you have all the positive numbers. And maybe we'll do red for negative. If we're going to the left, then we have negative numbers. So positive numbers are all to the right of 0. Negative numbers are all to the left of 0. If we do the little open circle there, that means 0 is not positive, 0 is not negative. So I'm going to write that in. So 0, it's neither positive nor negative. 0 is neither positive nor negative. If you had to say all the big numbers or the bigger numbers are all going to be whereabouts on your number line. Yep. I see some pointing. So big numbers are all to the right. So this here are going to be your bigger numbers. And on the far left are going to be the smaller numbers. So if, say on an RTI test, you see a question that says put these numbers in order, if you can kind of picture where they are on a number line, I mean, it's kind of, pick the positives, maybe too easy, but which number is bigger, 3 or 4? 4, because 4 is over here closer to the bigger numbers. 4 is going to be bigger. But that also works for ones that are maybe a little harder. What number's bigger, -3 or -4? -3, because -3 is over on that right more towards the bigger numbers. -3 is actually bigger than -4. A lot of people can do the positives, but they struggle with the negatives. All right, so on a number line, greater numbers are always on the on the right. Always on the right. So on a number line, if you have two numbers, the bigger ones are always going to be on the right. And smaller numbers then are always on the, always on the left. Any questions about number line? Is that decent review? Nothing real surprising or something you're confused about? Opposites. I'm going to go down to opposites, and I'm going to skip my little equals thing, just start with an example. What is the opposite of -5?
5.
So we could say -5 and 5. If you want to do a second example, you could say, or what's the opposite of 2?
-2.
Yep, and -2. Now here's where it's like, which definition do you use? The book's official answer, well, if you look at 2 and -2, if you look at 2 and -2, what's right smack dab between them? 0. And same thing for 5 and -5. So the official definition is opposite numbers are two numbers that are the same distance from 0 on the number line. So 5 is 5 over here, and I don't mess up your number line with this, but 5 is 5 to the right. -5 is its opposite because it's 5 to the left. So that's kind of the official definition. I struggle with that a little bit though, because that doesn't make it real clear in my mind. So you really could do kind of however you want to define it. I'm going to say two numbers. They're the same number, but one is positive and the other negative. If you wanted to, and no need to try to squeeze this in there, but if you wanted to, you could say two numbers, same distance from 0. So same distance from 0 on a number line. I don't plan to ask you that, but I feel kind of guilty not saying it. So I figured I'd try to just squeeze it in. So opposite numbers, they're two numbers, they're the same distance from 0 on a number line. And you may see a question in the book that says, what other number is the same distance away from 0 on a number line as 3? And you would say -3. Okay, good. Integers. We said integers were numbers without a, yep, so all numbers without a decimal. And I'm going to throw in there or fraction. Because 3/4 is really the same as 0.75, exactly. So decimals, fractions, they're kind of interchangeable in a lot of ways. So integers then, I'm going to write it this way. So I'm going to do a dot, 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 comma, -2, comma, -1, comma, 0, comma, 1, comma, 2, comma, dot, dot, dot. So what I'm trying to do with my little dot, dot, dots there is show, okay, it could be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it keeps going off to the right with no decimals. But you could also go to the left. You could say 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, so all numbers, doesn't matter how big, how small, no decimals though. We okay for integers? All right. Absolute value. I'm going to jump down to my first example right here. You guys used to these signs here being for absolute value, the two vertical lines?
Yeah.
So this is saying absolute value of 5, and the answer is positive 5. Absolute value of positive 8 is... I paused long enough. It's 8. The common mistake, and a bunch of my people in my other class hollered out a -8, that people confuse absolute value with giving the opposite. So absolute value just means take whatever's in the parentheses, so whatever's in here, and you make it positive. My first time giving a test on this a couple years ago, I tried giving people a question like this, thinking, oh, here's an easy question. Everybody's going to be like, thanks for the easy point, Mr. Falk. And tons of people got this one wrong. So take whatever's in the absolute value. If it's positive, you just rewrite it. Just leave it positive. If you have a negative in the absolute value, you make it positive. We okay on that? So my definition up at the top, always take what's inside, then I did the little absolute value signs, and make it positive. I'm going to underline it for dramatic emphasis. Make it positive. So, and this next part, I kind of wish I hadn't written this in. It's probably somewhat a reminder to myself. But you're going to see some questions in the book that say things like, what two numbers have an absolute value of 7? And maybe you can do that in your head, maybe not. But that's the same as if we were to give you a math question like this thing here. That they're saying, what two numbers could you put in right there? What could go in for x that's going to make the answer 7? So one answer would be a -7. Because you agree if I take and do an absolute value of -7 and you make it positive? So one answer will be a -7. My other one I heard over there from Taylor, that if it's a positive 7, absolute value of positive 7, you just keep it positive. So the answer would be -7 or 7. And that's going to come up later on, especially in algebra class. Any questions on this page here? All right. Then the last page just has those I can statements on it. So the notes should have covered these things here. If you're looking at it kind of like, I don't understand how to do one of these 4 things, hunt me down or Mrs. Postman's down, we'll explain it. So thanks.